Nick Rekieta, a Minnesota lawyer and owner of Rekieta Law, discusses legal topics and breaks down lawsuits often over scotch. Uh-oh. That's gonna age very poorly in about 5 minutes.
Running away from you, forget what you told me, fake, I'm never gonna be like you, hate what you do, it's crazy.
So in this video, we're talking about Nick Rekieta, the host and owner of the Rekieta Law YouTube channel that has almost 450,000 subscribers. Now, I had no idea who this person was up until like 5 days ago when I saw this video of him going viral on Twitter where he looked completely disheveled, he looked intoxicated, and was live to his audience and had no idea it appeared.
Why is my camera still on?
Dude, why does he sound like Joe Biden at the end there? Why is my camera on? He literally sounds like Joseph Robinette Biden, our president.
I was gonna foot him.
Well, for context, Nick Rekieta is an internet lawyer whose claim to fame was covering Weeb Wars, lawsuits that contested the results of the 2020 election, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and Amber Heard.
This woman should never be allowed in another DC Universe movie.
The Weeb Wars kicked off in 2019 after the premiere of the Dragon Ball Z Broly movie, where the English voice actor of Broly, Vic Mignogna, was faced with a multitude of accusations which got him immediately blacklisted from the entire voice acting industry. These accusations were perpetuated by others in the voice acting industry such as Ron Toy, Monica Rial, and Sean Schemmel, the voice actor of Goku. Covering this case is what gave Nick Rekieta his big break, his blow up.
What I'm going to propose is a potential legal strategy that is heavy on litigation. This means you're going to go in and you're going to take people to court and you're going to make them prove the things that they said, or you're going to make them pay you money.
Nick was so influential in Vic Mignogna's case that in 2021, the voice actor agreed to be interviewed on stream, and later Nick would help him out in his legal cases.
I know it's hard to believe who doesn't know who Nick Rekieta is, but when he sent me an email 2.5 years ago, I had no idea who he was, and I was getting a lot of messages of support and kindness. But I want to thank all of the fans out there who have been so incredibly kind and encouraging and supportive. I would dare say that that your support and your encouragement and God's grace, I would say, are the things that kind of kept me above water and kept me going through some dark times. So I just wanted to make sure, first and foremost, Nick, and thank your audience and anyone out there that was a part of that support. Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, the final nail in the coffin for Vic's case dropped in early 2024. 2020 was when politics became pop culture. With lockdowns and deadly riots nationwide, many were spending more time online, which in turn put the careers of YouTubers in overdrive. I mean, this is just facts. Look back at Dream. Why did that guy get so famous at that time? Because man's speedrunning block game was revolutionary for this time, okay? Nobody had anything interesting going on, so this became like the coolest thing ever. But anyway, this alongside skepticism regarding the 2020 election set the stage for many YouTubers who covered every minor update in these election cases. During this period, Nick was associated with not only LawTube creators, but channels such as Nerdotic, Eric July, Yellow Flash, Anna That Star Wars Girl, and Camelot. In fact, Nick Rekieta would be a guest on Yellow Flash's Flashcast almost every week, even going as far to host it himself when Yellow Flash was sick.
Well, hey, welcome to the show, everybody in the audience. Welcome to the panel. We've got That Umbrella Guy. We've got Just Some Guy, Raging Golden Eagle, and Crows of Judgment, or Crow of Judgment, not crows, just one crow. Of judgment. So thank you all for being here. Flash is not here because he's got some family thing or something, and so I was like, oh, there's a grifting opportunity here. So
hell yeah,
I thought your name was
really
Nick
fast too. I did
Kwanzaa.
that before anybody else could say,
hey, you were just like, bam, I'm in there.
I wasted no time.
No, actually, no. Kwanzaa learned his grift from Nick. Little known fact.
But Nick's actually good at it, so I don't think that's what happened.
Yeah, and Nick actually gets stuff out to. Well, he does what he promised, I guess. Actually, you want to talk about that? So the latest is White.
In 2021, Kyle Rittenhouse was tried and acquitted for shooting 3 people, killing 2 during protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin in August 2020. He was 17 at the time, claimed he acted in self-defense, stating he was there to protect property and provide medical assistance. This is where Nick Rekieta changed the game of LawTube. His livestream covering the Kyle Rittenhouse trial amassed over 100,000 concurrent live viewers. One man and his lawyer acquaintances were triumphant against well-owned operated corporate media titans. Nick struck gold on his new winning formula of a panel of lawyers casually watching and commenting on the trial as it was happening in real time. Now you can see just from this playlist here how many views he was truly getting. He was going live for almost 10 hours at a time covering this trial and every day of it. Each of these streams has hundreds of thousands to millions of views per, and the playlist compiling each day of the streams has almost 400,000 views in its own right. His coverage was so popular and successful that he ended up being able to interview Kyle Rittenhouse himself after the trial.
So welcome, man. It's kind of surreal talking to you. Obviously, we're gonna get into all this, but like about a year and a couple months ago, you went through something that is it's one of the most harrowing things that anyone can go through, and it was and I'm talking about the trial that most people will never have to deal with, and that is where the entire world is calling you a murderer, and then you get to go and try and tell them that that's not true.
November 19th, 2021, I was acquitted on all charges. It was long. It was a long journey. It was a long trial. It was exhausting. It was stressful, and the fight's still not over. I'm actually being sued right now currently.
This is a nearly 4-hour interview with the subject of one of the most controversial news stories of the past year, and his audience loved it. If you look at the comments section, what an amazing interview, Nick. A lot of us joined during the Rittenhouse coverage, so this kind of feels like a full circle moment. We've all been waiting so long for this sit down, and of course it didn't disappoint. I love that it was wicked laid back. Watching Kyle just laugh and joke around was so awesome. He deserves it. So thank you, Rackets. You're the only person I've really wanted to see interview him. Hope he comes back again to the depravity that is Rekieta and his chat. Now, the success of these streams and the content itself can be attributed to a lot of things, the political factors, the length of time he was streaming for, but ultimately you have to give the guy credit for kind of conjuring up a new formula for live stream react content. This is high IQ stuff, okay? This isn't Sniper Wolf reacting to silly TikToks and adding sound effects. This is the Saul Goodman of YouTube, a man of legal expertise, a lawyer himself reacting to a court case live. It was captivating, interesting, and educational. While the success of his coverage on the Rittenhouse trial was not only replicated but triumphed by his coverage of Amber Heard. Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard was much more of a pop culture case instead of a political one, such as the election or Kyle Rittenhouse. This led to an influx of new eyes on his channel for the first time. People who would never be watching legal content otherwise were in fact watching it because Nick Rekieta was covering the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Something less political and more pop culture-y was enough to get new viewers of Rekieta through the door. Unfortunately, Nick Rekieta couldn't keep his success going forever. 2023 is when things started to look gloomy. Although he got a pretty good deal signing with Rumble for exclusive content, Nick Rekieta had decided to stop doing his live courtroom coverage. This would result in a completely different attitude in terms of his content. His streams became less frequent, shorter, and lazier, not to mention he often got extremely drunk during these streams.
My definition of addiction is one, an unrelenting desire for a thing, right? That's part of it. Two, that then takes control and impacts what you do in some way or another. It impacts your family life, your social life, your employment or economic life. So yeah, right, like drug addicts who spend all their money on drugs, that's an impact. I think that it's now affecting your life, right? Like that's a problem. I don't think personally that my alcohol consumption gets there. I have certainly over-consumed alcohol from time to time. No bones about that. There are specific times that I've mentioned on the show. But, like, it's not something that I wait and crave for, except for right now when I'm going to pour myself whiskey because we're talking about it, and I can't not do it. But, I don't know. I don't want to argue against people, like, getting fought in the "you're an addict, no I'm not" trap is an impossible discussion. speaking as someone who was formerly addicted to a particular video game, admittedly and unironically, and knowing how like there is no level of thing you can do to convince an addict they're addicted, but similarly, there's no thing you can say to argue against addiction convincingly, because everything sounds like a justification for your addiction. So people will make their own determinations, and I'll just be here drinking whiskey.
You can see the difference on his face between streams from 2022 to now. Even his acquaintances who he would stream with consistently would abandon him like he was an anchor on their ship. Now, as I mentioned earlier, and the reason that I'm even making this video discussing the history of Nick Rekieta and how he's fallen off is because of a video I saw on Twitter of him looking absolutely disheveled. Well, in this video, he was drunk out of his mind, completely shit-faced, alone in his room, live to his audience, and I don't believe he even knew that he was live. Well, it's pretty obvious that the dude likes to drink. It's in his channel about me. It's literally like, oh yeah, we're gonna have some scotch while we look at this case. So hey. Obviously, he's a frequent attendee on the booze cruise, which I can't blame him for, you know, fair enough. If he wants to drink, let the man drink. But his enjoyment of drinking has completely consumed his life, and he is without a doubt an alcoholic. You know, he's got like a painting of different drinks in his background, and you can see the transformation in his face. He looks malnourished, unhealthy, just generally pale and unwell.
It's not a good choice. It's not a bad choice. It is a choice that is neutral. The goodness and the badness is always in your context. If you are not someone who should be drinking, do not drink. If you're able to drink, enjoy it. If you're able to drink now and not able to drink later, then stop. If you need to take a break, take a break. That's on you. That's on you. Your life is in control. This substance does not control you, does not control you.
Does not control you.
All white men are gay.
This dude looks like he was in The Walking Dead for a season. You shouldn't have this significant of a nourishment deficit, I should say.
I got to this anonymous letter, or the anonymous package. It was postage not paid. Like I had to pay the postage on it to receive it. And the post office like, well, where was it sent from? And it had my address as the return address with me as the sendee, which is not true. And in it had this burned piece of paper, which I feel like I'm going to get serial raped here. It says, the stars are aligned. A new host is chosen. Hail unto thee, Nick Chan Rekieta. And then with that came this, and this was so weird because this came before the mention of Sonic in the trademark dispute that we were talking about last night. A Sonichu medallion has been passed to me. I don't know where this came from. I don't know what it means other than what it means, but that is that happened. That happened. It cost me $2 to pay the postage on it.
Dude, if you need more guns, just let me know. I'll send some.
This is friendly, I think. This is friendly. Don't put it on.
Come on.
Don't put it on. Sonichu lives. He lives in you.
Well, that brings us to present day 2024. Nick Rekieta has been arrested. I'm not joking. We got a tweet here reading, Rekieta was arrested after a mandatory reporter had concerns regarding child neglect. Mandatory reporters in Minnesota are people in law enforcement, health services, education, and members of the clergy. And we got another tweet here saying Nick Rekieta is charged with 25 grams of cocaine or meth, possession of ammo or firearm, child endangerment. He is currently representing himself. Well, this will be the biggest case of his career. The last two are gross misdemeanors. The drug possession carries a max of 25 years in prison. He is innocent until proven guilty. He looks bad, and it's sad too. I hope everything gets sorted. This is fucking insane. Okay, this is insane. This guy had like a good career on YouTube. He's probably like a millionaire, multi-millionaire. I think he has 5 kids and a wife, and this is how he's going down? Oh my god. I hear a lot of the time people using the word canceled when referring to e-celebrities and YouTubers who crash out, you know, they ruin their career doing something stupid like a scam, NFT rug pull, some bullshit, right? But this guy Nick Rekieta is not canceled. He didn't cancel himself, dude. He's facing potentially 25 years in jail. And he has a wife and 5 kids. Bro, this guy didn't just get canceled. He ruined his life. Like, legitimately, like, that's just sad. And I don't want to make light on addiction, you know? If you have a problem with that sort of stuff, I would say get help. But it no longer becomes a personal struggle that you are dealing with when you have a family and a wife. I think at that point, you owe it to not just yourself, but everybody in your life that you need to stay sober. Like, at that point, it is going to, traumatize your children. It's going to make them have an unsafe environment growing up. And this is the sort of thing where it's not just a moral thing, like, oh, do it for the kids. Like, yeah, do it for the kids because you're a good person, but also do it for the kids so you don't go to jail, okay? Like, having children, endangering them just makes your sentence even longer. So even if you're trying to be selfish, this is still the way you have to do it. So be selfless and think about your kids for selfish reasons, even if that's what it's going to take.
Count 1 is second-degree possession, 25 grams or more of cocaine or methamphetamine. This is in violation of Minnesota Statute 152.022, subdivision 2, print A, print 1. The maximum sentence for that count is 25 years in prison and or a $500,000 fine. Count 2 is possession of ammunition or any firearm with the user of controlled substances. This is a gross misdemeanor, so the maximum sentence is 364 days in the Kansas County Jail and or a $3,000 fine. Count 3, endangerment of a child when present with a sale or possession of a controlled substance. Again, a gross misdemeanor.
So it looks like as I'm recording this earlier today, he actually is out of jail with conditions. Now you can see on this document, there's a box that says conditional release, and there's some checked boxes here. Some of the checked boxes include defendant shall be released on his or her personal recognitions. I have no idea what that means. And shall not possess or consume alcoholic beverages or any mood-altering drugs not prescribed by a physician, and shall submit to random drug testing by any means at the defendant's expense at the request of law enforcement or probation. Failure or refusal to test is a violation of this order. Uh-oh, it's only 2 terms in and we got a problem, bro. He's an alcoholic. You're telling me the dude with a painting, a beautiful oil painting of all different sorts of whiskey in his background, and the dude whose channel about says we like to do things with scotch, you think he's gonna be able to not drink while he's like on probation or whatever? Dude, it's not gonna happen. He's going to drink. Defendant shall not leave the state of Minnesota without prior court approval. Defendant shall have no use/possession of firearms, dangerous weapons, ammunition, or explosives, and may not reside where present. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you don't want this guy near firearms. I mean, does that even need an explanation at all? Yeah, but anyway, I was shocked to see the 25 grams of cocaine or meth. I mean, look, obviously people know that streamers use stimulants in order to be able to maintain their energy throughout like 9-hour streams. But geez, dude, like, bro, 25 grams? Hello? Is this dude like in bed with the cartel or something? Is this guy border hopping? Like, what's going on? I feel like maybe just get like an Adderall prescription. Like if you're doing 9-hour streams, like just do that. You know what I mean? Like, isn't that what Destiny does? I think he takes like Vyvanse or something. But bro, it's a common thing for streamers to do. And I'm not saying it's okay, but like, bro, this is very not okay. Like if we're measuring the okayness of 25 grams of meth or cocaine versus maybe a bottle of Adderall, like it's a no-brainer. But yeah, from what I've seen from the guy, he's obviously struggling very significantly in life, and I don't know. I mean, like, I don't want to call him a good person or a bad person and provide some like moral judgment on him, but I think what I can say pretty confidently is it would be a good thing for him to get better, for himself, for his life, for his kids, pretty simple conclusion. But yeah, with that all being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Follow my social medias, links are all down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.